And I'm going to start out with a brasato, and that means a beef that is braised. And braising means that you're only going to be using a little bit of liquid. So let me show you how you do that. First of all, you get yourself a nice top round. Or you could use a chuck roast for this as well. And this is a meat that's going to take a long time for it to cook. So when I get my meat from the butcher, the first thing I do is dry it off real well. And I do this because I want to make sure that the meat will brown sufficiently. If I had too much moisture on the meat, well then it would steam instead of brown. So that's an important thing to do. Then, after you dry it off, well, you want to make some slits in your meat. And before I do that, I have a pot here that I'm heating up with a little bit of olive oil. Now this is important too. Only use a pot that's big enough to hold the piece of meat that you're cooking. Otherwise, too much liquid will evaporate, and you're not putting that much liquid in to begin with. So now, you go all over the meat like this, you see, making slits, because now you're going to insert some garlic. I'll leave that there for a minute. And here's my garlic, all slivered up. You want to push the garlic deep into the meat. Now you probably can imagine that I'm going to be using a little bit of red wine with this today. You want to give the meat a little bit of coarse black pepper, what my grandmother used to call butcher's pepper, and some salt. Rub that in all over the meat. Now by now, your olive oil should be hot enough in the pan. You never want to put meat into cold oil or lukewarm oil. You want to make sure that it is hot. So I think mine is ready. I'm going to take the cover off now, turn the heat up a little bit, and put my meat in. And this is going to take about 20 minutes for the meat to really brown on all sides. So in it goes. Turn that up so I can hear that sizzle, and let that brown. And if you see that your pan is getting a little dry, well, then you just add a little bit more of olive oil as you go along, because this is a fairly lean piece of meat. So you may need to add a little bit more olive oil. So I stood the roast up on end now, so I'm able to get the sides as well. All right, now, as that browns, we want to add some onion to it. And here I've got one large onion. I'm not going to add all of this, I'm just going to add some of it. And put it in around the roast as it browns. One large onion that you've diced up. Getting a little sloppy in the kitchen today. And also with that, I want to have a carrot. So that goes around. Now I'm going to turn this back down. And then, besides carrot, well, you want to have some tomato paste, some red wine vinegar as well. Remember, we were in the winery and we saw how wine was made. But red wine vinegar is also a product of wine. So a good red wine vinegar goes in. That wasn't a lot at all, about 1/4 cup. And then also with that, you want some tomato paste, about 1 tablespoon. And here is our red wine. This is just a dry red wine. That all goes in, all the way around, and that's all there is to it. And then you want to cover that tightly. Cover it tightly, and now lower the heat really low, because you want that to cook for about 1.5 hours.